Hello all and welcome back to episode 22 of the Middle Ground Podcast and our final episode of Fat Loss Foundations, where today I'm going to wrap up everything we've talked about over the last 10 weeks for you to be able to achieve your fat loss and your physique goals. So this is if you're only going to listen to one episode, this is the one to listen to. I'm simplifying everything down very simply, basically, to make it digestible in ideally less than 25 or 30 minutes, so that after this podcast, you go away, you know exactly what you need to be doing. Will it be easier to do? No, I can't make things easier. Will you know what you're doing at least? Yes, that's what I can do. I can educate you. If you want to make things easier, take a little bit off your plate, get a coach. Voila. Aquí estoy un coach. Anyway, let's dive straight in. Putting it all together. This entire thing is essentially the perfect beginner blueprint. So let's go number one. Most important thing about losing fat. A slight calorie deficit. You won't lose fat without being in a calorie deficit. We all know this by now. We're talking 300 to 500 a day. Don't go crazy with it. Don't burn yourself out. Don't go too low. Especially if you haven't done any sort of structured fat loss before. Tracking calories, all of this kind of stuff. Don't go balls to the wall with it straight away. Gradual deficit. Again, once you're more experienced, once you've done a few fat loss phases and you discover that maybe you like something a little bit more aggressive, you can do that. You can enter a steeper deficit. You understand how your body reacts. You understand how your mind reacts. It's much easier to balance. Whereas if you go straight in, it can end up in a binge restrict or all or nothing cycle, which is something you've probably already struggled with. We don't want that again. So slight calorie deficit. Use a calorie calculator. Oh my God. That was a weird way to say that. Use a calorie calculator. You can either use mine in my bio on Instagram. If I remember, I'll put it in the description of this podcast. Or you can use tdeecalculator.net or whatever the website's called. And you'll get something around about where you want to be for your goals. Whether it's cutting, maintenance, or bulking, you'll get a calorie amount that works for you, roughly. The only way to know for sure is to track it consistently, track your weight, see how your weight moves. If your weight goes up, reduce your calories a little bit. This is a fat loss is your goal. If your weight goes up, reduce your calories by 200 to 300, depending on how much it goes up, or 500 maybe. If it stays the same, reduce it by 200 to 300, and if it goes down, then you're absolutely dandy. Okay, you're absolutely flying, as long as it's not going down too fast, which would be we want about half a kilo a week, a pound a week is pretty steady, which is a 500 daily deficit. Okay, now protein, the most important part of your diet when it comes to a fat loss phase. We want 0.7 to 1 gram per pound of body weight. So if you're 200 pounds, right, that's 170 to 200 grams ish, something like that. Not a million on that maths. Maybe 150 grams to 200 grams, something like that. You get the gist. However, if you are largely overweight, say you're 400 pounds, no, you don't need to be eating 400 grams of protein a day. Go off your ideal body weight. So let's say it's 250 pounds, 250 grams of protein. Use this as a range. This is essentially the upper limit of effective protein intake. So anything over a gram a day, you're not going to get any extra benefit from, really, in my experience and in research. However, this doesn't mean you can't go over it. From a satiety standpoint, you don't want to overdo it because you need to be getting your carbs and your fats in. But if you want to, go for it. It's not going to have any adverse side effects. Okay, but think of it like a range. You don't have to get the upper end every day. Ideally, you sit somewhere within that range on a day-to-day basis. Now, 25 gram minimum for each meal. Minimum, right? 3 meals a day. That knocks out 75 grams of it. At least. If it's a 25 gram minimum, you're probably getting more like 30 to 35. That knocks out about 100 over the course of a day. Then you've got your snacks. And again, 30 grams of protein in a meal is good. It's pretty good. But you can still get more. Just increase the portion of protein in the meal. We know this by now. If you need to supplement with a whey protein supplement, you go ahead and do that. There is nothing wrong with them. They're absolutely fine. They are just protein. They're byproducts of the milk making process. They skim the whey off and they make it taste nice so that you can have protein. It's just like having milk. But If you struggle with regular whey, get a clear whey. Clear whey is so much nicer. It tastes like juice and it is gorgeous. Get the bulk clear whey. I have no affiliation to bulk, but they are the best, in my opinion. Now, protein out of the way, done. You know it's important. 0.7 to 1 gram per pound of body weight, 25 gram minimum for each meal. Let's talk about steppies. We love steppies. Let's throw an arbitrary range out there of about 7 to 10,000 a day. This is because it's an intentional target. It is rare, unless you have a largely active job, that you're getting 10,000 steps a day. As we've covered in the previous episodes, 10,000 steps only ever came from the Tokyo Olympics, I believe. And it was a advert for a pedometer in Japan. And the symbol looked nice, so they went with 10,000. It's an arbitrary number, but it's an intentional target. I aim for 10,000 a day. If you're currently at 2,000, don't aim for 10,000. Maybe aim for 4,000 or 5,000. Then, once that's part of your routine and you understand how to do that and you fit the time in, up it again. Try 7,000, right? There's no right or wrong here, but there's multiple ways. You want general movement, right? So you can park your car further away from work or from the shops. You can take the stairs at every opportunity. You can take walking meetings. If you've just got a phone call with someone, go for a walk, go for a stroll rather than sitting at your desk. A walking pad, they seem to be the absolute game changer for most people that live sedentary jobs and work from desks. I haven't had one. I know coaches that use them. They claim them to be incredible. So if you work from a desk, maybe think about investing in a walking pad. Steps out the way. Wow, I'm really out of breath this episode. Oh my goodness, I'm speaking way too fast. 2 to 3 gym sessions a week. Let's talk about training. Train full body, if that is your goal. It's brilliant. You're hitting everything 2 to 3 times a week, while only training 2 to 3 times a week for 45 minutes to an hour. If you want the best possible physique outcome, bodybuilder results, this isn't going to do it. If you want really good physical results from a general health and a general muscle building standpoint, this will do it for you. Absolutely. Absolutely. Have a full body focus and anything you can be consistent with. So for most people, that is 2 to 3 gym sessions a week. 3 would be absolutely ideal. 3 is brilliant. But if you can only get 2 in, you've still hit full body twice a week. If you're doing a full body focus, that's what I would do. Push and progress over time are the biggest things with training. Make sure that each time you go in, you are looking to progress something, whether it is time under tension, so how slow you're doing the movement, whether it is the weight, whether it is the reps, you're aiming to progress. I'm not going to dive too much into training here because I covered it in depth in another Fat Loss Foundations episode. I believe it was episode, I want to say 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, it was episode 6. Resistance training for normal people, I think it was called. So go back, have a listen to that if you want to know more about resistance training. But control everything. Make sure your form's right. 2 to 3 sessions a week, full body focus. 45 to 60 minutes. You don't need anything more than that as long as you're pushing it hard. But don't cop out, because if you're not training lots, you need to be training fucking hard. Now, the most important part of all of this, we've covered diet, we've covered general movement, steps, we've covered training. Most important part of this is that you do it consistently. It's why my coaching program is called the Consistency Code, because it is the most important part of this entire process. The most important part of it. You can do all of these things for a day and get no results. You can half-ass things for a long time and get somewhat results. Do I recommend it? No. But if you do some things consistently for a while, the results add up. Whereas if you are perfect for a couple of days, it doesn't make a change. Consistency is the underlying factor in all long-term change. You need to learn to show up on a daily basis, even when it's not perfect. Even when the situation doesn't align, when the stars don't align to be in your routine and be in your favor. When it's not perfect, it is the most important time for you to show up consistently, because it stacks proof of this new identity. Identity change lies at the center of long-term change. Long-term health outcomes, long-term physique change, all stems from identity change, because if your identity doesn't change along with your physique and your habits, as soon as you reach your goal, you're going to revert back to normal. You need to become a different person to become a different person. That should somewhat stick in your head. That should make sense. So the days that you don't want to show up are the days that you absolutely must, because it builds the proof that you are who you say you are. So do it consistently. Whatever you do, do it consistently. If you can't do it consistently, probably not worth doing. What progress should look like? In my opinion, these are a couple of things that progress can look like for people. Things get slowly easier. They become ingrained habits. They require less momentum and less discipline, less willpower. There's less inertia around them. They're slightly easier to do. Will they ever get effortless? No. But do they get slightly easier? Yes. Around 1 pound a week of fat loss on average is a brilliant place to start for most people. It is steady. It's not too much. For some people, it might have to be a little bit slower if their hunger signaling fires up as soon as they're in a deficit. But for most people, about £1 a week, half a kilo is very steady, and it's enough that when you're seeing progress consistently, you're still motivated by it because it's not such a small amount that it's negligible. Right? If every 2 weeks you're losing a kilo, that's pretty fucking unbelievable. Clothes are feeling looser, and you're feeling better. That's what progress can look like. You're more confident in clothes. You're buying new clothes. And you just feel better in yourself. You show up more for the people around you. You're a nicer person. It is very much all-encompassing. Now, I'm going to talk about how you can adjust after periods of time so that you don't stagnate, you don't stall. So, every time weight stalls, give it a week or two. So if you've weighed in at the same weight every day or around the same and your weekly average is the same for 2 weeks, give it a couple of days, give it a week, see if it moves. If it doesn't move, think about adjusting calories. But sometimes this can just be a stall waiting for something called a whoop, which is where your body flushes out a lot of water that it's held onto because you've been losing fat. It started to hold onto more water as like a survival mechanism. And then it realizes that food isn't coming and like excess calories aren't coming. So it lets go of all the water, flushes it out, and you'll see a big weight drop. And then you'll see a small spike after this where your body kind of reacts to it. If this doesn't happen, you probably need to reduce your calories. You're just at maintenance. It's not a problem. Just reduce your calories by 200-300 or increase your steps by 2,000-3,000. Okay. Now, if you've been in a deficit for more than 6 months and you see this weight stall and you think, I don't know how I'm going to increase my movement anymore or reduce my calories anymore, I'm going to be absolutely fucked. Take a diet break. Take a thing called a diet break. You bring yourself back up to maintenance. You feel like you've got nowhere to go. You can't reduce your calories anymore. You can't increase your movement anymore reasonably. Diet break. Up your maintenance for a couple of weeks. Wait for things to level out. Your weight will spike, but it's just glycogen. It's just water, and it's just food in your stomach. Don't worry about it. You might go up a kilo or two. You're not gaining fat as long as you're in maintenance, okay? Go into maintenance for a couple of weeks, then re-enter a deficit, and you should be relatively good to go, especially if you've been a diet a long time and you haven't had a diet break. They're quite important for you to just maintain your sanity, if nothing else. So now, I've covered that. I've covered everything in that respect. A final little pep talk from me before you enter this fat loss journey. You will fuck up and it will not be perfect. I hope that is motivational enough. You will fuck up and it will not be perfect. If you can get used to those things, if you can understand that it's not going to be perfect all the time, you are going to make mistakes. You will be in a much better position for long-term progress because you won't panic when you do fuck up and you're not perfect. Life isn't perfect. It's very hard. Done is much better than perfect, in my opinion. I'd rather something be done than it be procrastinated because you want it to be perfect. Not every day of nutrition is going to be perfect. Not every training session is going to be perfect. But you can do your fucking best to make it as good as it can be. The speed of recovery is the most important thing in terms of consistency. If you slip up, when you fuck up, the speed at which you can make your next decision a positive one is one of the most important things. One of the most important things. It's the difference between a slip up not affecting long-term progress at all and a slip up absolutely derailing you for a week and being much harder to climb back from. If you overeat on one meal, you can very easily remedy that at the next meal by eating a normal meal and continuing as normal. Or you can continue overeating for the rest of the day and then feel like shit the next day and overeat the next day and overeat the next day. And then all of a sudden you've erased 2 weeks of progress and you feel like shit and you give up. The speed at which you recover from slip-ups will be the deciding factor here. Absolutely. And finally, you will become a different person. In and out. Inside and out. You will look different. You will feel different. You will act different. I can't overstate how amazing it is to feel comfortable in your skin, to be confident, and to look the way you want to look the way you think you should look, and show up in the world as that person. Because you become a different fucking person. People don't understand this. When you put yourself first, in a selfless way, not a selfish way, you put yourself first so that you can show up better for the people around you. You treat your body well. You move it. You let it grow. you fuel it properly, you become a completely different person. You grow inside and out. You look different, you feel different, you act different. It is an incredible thing that I cannot overstate the importance of. And that is the end of Fat Loss Foundations. This has been a quick episode. I'm not quite sure why I've done it so quickly. I've blasted through this. I'm out of breath. I don't know what's happened. It's been a whirlwind, but I hope that was helpful. I hope it provided some sort of guidance for you. If you ever need any more help, you know where to find me. You can message me on Instagram and I will be more than happy to provide you with some assistance. Thank you for staying around for these 10 episodes of Fat Loss Foundations and to episode 22 of The Middle Ground. We'll get back to our regularly scheduled programming where not everything is about fat loss now, because Fat Loss Foundations is officially over. Like, subscribe, comment, share it with your friends, rate it on Spotify. Thank you very much for giving me your time. It means the world. I hope you have a great day, and I will see you all in the next episode.